I'm here with Molly Adams, aspiring female wrestler in training, student at the New England Pro Wrestling Academy under Brian Fury. Molly, thanks so much for joining me this morning. How are you today?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me. This is
Yeah,
exciting.
it is exciting. Yeah, it's a podcast. It's like there's a million wrestling podcasts out there, and we're one of them. So we're
All right.
yeah, we're happy to have you on. We've come across each other at a few like Limitless shows and stuff, and in social media, and so I thought you'd be a good chat. Being a female trying to get into the wrestling business, getting into the wrestling business itself is challenging. And I think it's a little extra challenging for females, and so I kind of wanted to get your take on it. I mean, hell, WWE's been around forever. And they recently just had their first main event of a pay-per-view uh, by two women with Sasha Banks and Charlotte. So it's been a long time coming, and I think what you're doing is awesome. So I want to kind of get a little out of you here. I wanted to ask first off, like, what got you into being a fan of wrestling? Just as a fan.
Well, it only started because in 2014, when Money in the Bank was in Boston, a friend of mine had an extra ticket and asked me if I would like to purchase the ticket and go. And I said, well, sounds like fun, couldn't hurt. Let's go.
Nice.
And
I was actually at
that's
that
where
show
it
too.
started. Like my first time watching wrestling was live, so that's cool.
Yeah, that's definitely the best way to see it. I was actually at Money in the Bank too. We were sitting like right behind like the panel that did like the pre-show. So like Christian was there, Booker T. I mean, I would literally like turn around. I'd be like, oh my god, Booker T is
Uh,
like 20 feet from me. This is crazy. So
Were you one of the people in the background that like waves when the camera's there?
yeah, and like the security was like really like rushing you along. Like you couldn't like hang out back there. You couldn't just stand there and like wave. Like they would be like, get out of here, get moving. So,
Yeah.
but that's where our seats were, so we could kind of turn around and at least wave or make some funny faces and stuff. But yeah, that's fun, man, and that's a great pay per view too to kind of to start off your fandom. I mean, Money in the Bank is such a cool, innovative show. So that's awesome. Who were some of the wrestlers that you immediately took to when you started watching?
Oh, Randy Orton, definitely. Took me a little while to warm up to him, but I'm going on record now and saying that I like John Cena. Shame on me, but I do.
Yeah, I
Um,
like Cena. He gets a little stale, but when he's gone and then he comes back, I'm like, yeah, fuck
yeah.
yeah, Cena. All right. When his music hits, I'm like, yeah, Cena's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Something about his music too. It's kind of.
Yeah, when you hear that, oh, it's like it's amazing. It gets me up off the couch. So I love it. So then you go from in a very short time, you go from kind of just being a fan to taking the plunge and actually like trying to take this journey of being a wrestler, which is something that not a lot of people do. What was the decision making process kind of like that on that aspect?
Well, like you said, we've run into each other at a few Limitless shows, and I prefer the indie circuit more than I do watching WWE. No offense to WWE, but it's just like more intimate with um, independent circuit, and you can meet the wrestlers. And I, I don't know, just started to feel like I belonged, I guess,
Yeah.
amongst them. And I said, I wonder if I could do this.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, totally. I recently have only gotten into like independent wrestling, like maybe in the last, couple years. But yeah, for me, like my whole life was always, WWE, WWF, WCW. And I had always had that like kind of aspiration too, but at the same time I always felt that it was larger than life. I was always, like, I don't know, I think an above average athlete. And it was something that I could have done. And then, but again, I thought it was like larger than life. And so then, now going to like some of these indie shows, I kind of have the same outlook where I'm like, man, I could do this. I could do that. I don't know if I will. But it definitely opens your eyes. That indie scene opens your eyes a little bit and makes it more attainable. So you're training down at New England Pro Wrestling Academy, Brian Fury's school.
Yes.
So what are some of the things that you're learning now? Like where are you at with your training?
Well, I started on October 15th, and they make it look really easy, but it's really not. Like, I remember when I first signed up, I asked Fury, I was like, am I going to get to run the ropes today? Do I get to learn that? All excited. And then he said, yeah, you'll learn them, and you're going to bruise, and it's going to be terrible. And my bruise has only gotten bigger since then. I mean, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
But and I still can't run them correctly.
No.
I'll get there, and let's see, bumping, which I don't know. This is a wrestling podcast, so I'm guessing that people know what bumping is.
We all know what bumping is, sure.
Okay, yeah. That's been a challenge also.
Yeah, just what, like doing it properly, or just like taking the bump, like
doing it properly, because before they'll let you take a clothesline or anything, you have to just do it in the middle of the ring by yourself.
Yeah.
And there's just momentum that goes into it, and it's all mental, because your whole life you've been taught, don't fall, stop yourself from falling, and now they're saying, just make yourself fall. So it's gotta kind of get out of your head, and I'm having difficulty with that.
Yeah.
But I am determined, so I'll get there. I'll just keep going. I mean, it's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I mean, you pay for being able to go all 3 days, but you're not obligated to. But I go all 3 days.
Yeah, and you make the commute too. It's down in Massachusetts, correct?
North Andover. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And you reside up here in Maine, so it's what's it, like a hour and a half, something like that?
Hour and a half from my house, and then an hour from work. So
Oof.
yeah.
Yeah. And so, and that's the thing, like, people don't realize, like, a lot of these guys, they have day jobs and stuff, and guys and gals, I should say. Like, so, you're going to work, you get out of work, you drive an hour and a half or an hour, to basically get the shit kicked out of you, and then drive home, and then like go to work the next day. It's intense. Like, I praise you for taking that leap and diving in there. Like I said, I always thought that it would be something that I would enjoy, but I just never did. And it's just one of those things. But so who are some of the guys or gals down there that you're training with that are kind of right there in the thick of it with you? I'm sure you've met people down there, became friends with some people. So anybody that's like helping you out down there, taking under their wing, or anything, any kind of inspirations down there within the facility?
Yes, I'm sure that the name Ace Romero is very prominent in people's minds, and they know exactly who that is.
AC Baby.
AC Baby, yes. He has been very helpful. And AG, all good Anthony Green.
Oh, I love Dad. He's the best.
Yeah, yes. And also Brick, and I don't know how to pronounce his last name, so I'm just going to call him Brick.
Brick.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's the times that he's been there when I've been there, I've actually been able to do more stuff because he's so encouraging. He's like, all right, well, you got to learn sometimes, so let's do this now. And
that's awesome. Yeah, it's good to have those people around you that will push you And it seems like, just from what I've seen on social media about the academy, is it just seems very welcoming. Like, people that don't really have much experience, that they go in there, or as zero experience, it seems like they can just go in there and they're welcomed, and it's a comforting environment, as much as that can be an environment where you're hitting the ropes and taking bumps. Like, it seems to be a very friendly environment. So
it is. Yeah, there it's not it's really not that whole let's see. Well, I'm advanced, so I don't have time for those noobs. It's more of, we all started somewhere. Everybody had day one of wrestling. So
right. Nice. So obviously, like, and I know, I kind of know it just from being like a wrestling fan. Obviously you're probably trying, or you're getting, how can I say this? You're probably experiencing this from being a wrestling fan, but now also trying to get into the business. Are there people outside of the business, like maybe like friends or family, that are, inspiring you to do this, or, helping you to do this, or what's the reaction from friends and family and stuff? Or, because I know, like, just from myself, like being a wrestling fan, like growing up as a wrestling fan, I kind of got shit on a little bit from being a wrestling fan. You always hear that, oh, it's fake, right, kind of thing. But then, as I grew up, people kind of learned to accept it, like, oh, that's just John's thing, that's just what he's into. What's the reaction like in your personal life to when you started training?
Tons of support. I mean, everybody was like, go for it. When I tell my family, my family sees my bruises, they're like, I don't want you doing this anymore. But,
Of course. Of course.
Yeah,
that's funny.
but my husband has been very supportive as well, and I'm sure seeing the bruises is not, I don't know if he's happy that I'm happy doing that, I think.
Yeah.
Because I finally, I don't know, not to get sappy, but I've never really had a place where I fit in very well. And like this seems to be that place. Took me 29 years to find it, but
you found it. That's the thing. That's the point. That's the beautiful thing in it. So it's great. And I've learned that the wrestling community, like, in and of itself, is a very welcoming place. I mean, there's definitely, like, you get those bad apples, those smarky douchebags. But for the most part, like, when we started this podcast, we were kind of out there. We didn't have any connections. And what I've learned is that everybody wants to help. Everybody wants to get their voice heard, or get their product promoted, whether it's a promotion, a wrestling promotion, or a product like a wrestling crate or something. And podcasts are a good way to do that. And so therefore everybody's really helpful, and everybody's really, like, accepting. So it's just it's a fun community to kind of be in. And I'm excited for you to do this, because it's especially now that you just told me that you never really felt like you fit in anywhere. This is a really cool place to fit in. So I love that.
I didn't even know where I was supposed to start with, because Maine doesn't really have any really wrestling schools.
Right.
So I sent Randy, the promoter for Limitless, which I'm sure everyone knows that by now. I sent him a message, and I said, at first I asked him if he thought I could do it. And of course he said yes, because everybody says yes.
Right.
And he told me about the school in North Andover and said, that's where you need to go if you're going to do it.
Yeah.
So that's what I did.
Nice. Very cool. And you mentioned your husband a few moments ago. Do you ever come home from training and, like, try and, like, slap a sharpshooter on him or something?
I've shoved him around a bit.
Nice.
He said, you're going to be able to beat the crap out of me.
Yes, stand still. I'm gonna clothesline you. Hold still.
Yes.
So
yep.
Nice.
Let me practice on you.
Yeah, and you better take this bump right. Awesome. So speaking of Randy and Limitless Wrestling, obviously, like we mentioned, we're both big fans of Limitless Wrestling. We both kind of got a chance to see Lindsay Dorado's final indie appearance, which was at a Limitless Wrestling show up in Orono. God, I don't know, what was a couple months ago, I believe now.
September 24th.
Yeah. So, which was awesome, because then like literally like 2 days later, I saw Lindsay on TV, and I was like, oh my God, I just met that guy. Like, got my picture with him, got his autograph. Like, he was the coolest guy ever. And got to see him like put on this awesome match with Travis Gordon. But you have a good Lindsay story, or at least experience. You got more of an experience than I did that weekend with him. So do tell. What's Lindsay? What's this Lindsay all about?
Well, he spent the weekend with me.
Amazing.
Yeah, I had written an article about him, and through that, I can't remember quite how it happened, but he had posted dates that he was available for independent shows. So I tagged Randy because September 24th was available. And
right.
Then, because it's all back and forth between 3 different people, it didn't happen in time, and another company had actually booked him. And let's see, that was a bummer. Seemed like all hope was lost.
Right. Yeah.
And then a couple weeks later, I sent Lindsay a message, just because I kind of, through learning about him for the article, kind of formed a friendship with him. And I just had sent him a message because he had gone to Puerto Rico. I just said, I hope you had a good time, or something like that. And then he sent one back, said, yeah, it was great. And then he said, when was that date again? And I said, what date? And he said, for the Limitless show. And I told him, and then he said, that other company canceled on me. And I said, don't do anything for the next 24 hours. Just hold on. And
nice.
There was a show at the Thatchers in South Portland that night for, I don't remember what it was called at that point. But Randy was there, and I talked to him, and I said, we had discussed ahead of time. I said, if I pay for his flight and, his transportation and lodging, do you want to do this? He said yes. So
that's awesome.
That's how it started.
That's amazing. Yeah. And now the guys on WWE TV, they're gonna get their own like cruiserweight show now, like live show on when is that? Is it Tuesdays, I think now? I can't remember, but the live 205 thing. And Lindsay is super impressive. I mean, he's definitely been standing out in the cruiserweights, like on Raw. And he's had a couple like pre-show matches on pay-per-views and stuff. Obviously one at Hell in a Cell. But yeah, he's just amazing. And that's so cool. What a great experience. And it's funny. It's like, it kind of goes back to my point where it's like, growing up, I would have never thought that would even be possible, like that this whole business is like larger than life. And then you realize that it's really not. They're regular people just like you and I, and they're just, they just happen to have a camera on them.
Yeah, they really are normal people. I mean, we went out to breakfast on Saturday morning before we made the trip to Orono.
Yeah.
He bought me breakfast.
No.
I was like, well, you did just get signed with WWE. I think you can afford it.
Yeah. You can buy me some scrambled eggs, bro. It's all right. That's awesome. Does he wear his mask to breakfast?
He does not.
Mask to breakfast. he's not Rey Mysterioing this whole thing up, I see.
Yeah. Well, at least not in Maine. He didn't. Probably because nobody knows him here.
No, of course not. Speaking of his mask, I love his mask. Like, I think it's really unique, and like the whole cat thing is cool. And I tweeted at at WWE Shop the other day, and obviously I tagged Lindsay Dorado, and I tweet about Lindsay quite a bit just because I'm a big fan of his. But I said something along the lines of like, hey, WWE Shop, like if you don't already have a Lindsay Dorado mask in production, like you've already lost. like I want that mask like so bad. I will buy it if they ever make one for him. So he's just so cool. I love his little shtick. So.
I think he designs his own masks and his own
like his own gear.
His own gear. That's the word.
That's awesome. Yeah. He's like been really responsive too, like on Twitter to us on the show and stuff. So he just seems like a really great guy. Obviously, you said he is. So that's very cool. Very cool. Speaking of Hell in a Cell, like I mentioned earlier, Hell in a Cell is the very first WWE pay-per-view that was headlined by two women. We had Sasha Banks versus Charlotte for the Women's Championship inside a Hell in a Cell. I wanted to get your thoughts on that because it is very monumental in WWE, even though I feel like WWE is very slow to progress women. But hey, finally, they're main eventing a pay-per-view, and I thought it was awesome. I wanted to get your thoughts on it. I know that you've seen the match, so tell me what you thought about the match.
The match was very cool. I mean, just seeing women wrestle at all is, they're really throwing their bodies into it, and that was the first time that women were even in the cell,
right?
For the match also, and the only thing wrong with that match is who won it.
I agree.
I was really surprised at that.
I was too, being in Boston, like her hometown, like Sasha. I don't know. It just seemed like a lock that she would win. I figured she'd take a lot of punishment in the match, but then she would still triumph. And because they've kind of flip-flopped the belt back and forth a few times, that I was like, there's no possible way that Charlotte's going to take it back. And then she did. And I'm not the biggest fan of title swapping that quickly. So, yeah, I don't know. But I did like the match. I thought that Sasha really needs to kind of calm down a little bit with the spots that she's taking. Like she landed on her neck like so many times. So it's like,
yeah, when she got thrown against the cell and then kind of landed down on her neck, that was yeah, that didn't look good.
No, it was pretty brutal.
Sure, it doesn't feel good.
No, not at all. It doesn't feel good when you land on your back when you take a proper bump, right? So
no,
you can't imagine it feels good when you land on your neck. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, was it at all like inspiring to you at all to be like, okay, wow, like this is a real thing now. Like this isn't, this is a giant step in women wrestling. Was that at all inspiring? Like now that you're in the business?
Well, it was extra inspiring because Sasha Banks trained where I'm training. That's
right.
Where she began, and they mentioned the school when she made her entrance.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that.
It was very like, wow. I literally 3 times a day go to the same place that she was at. Like she was in this very ring.
Right.
So that made it very much more real, I guess.
Yeah.
Gave me the extra, I don't know, push that I needed.
Yeah. What was the feeling or the buzz around the academy at that time? Were there people talking about that match and people talking about Sasha? Like was there any buzz around there?
Not really, which was weird. I mean, most of the people at the school went to Hell in a Cell, but
oh right, I gotcha. Yeah.
Nobody really.
Yeah, I'm sure that they were excited that the school got mentioned on
yes, the that was on social media, definitely.
Yeah.
At the school, it didn't really get brought up.
Yeah, no worries. Cool. Well, Survivor Series is right around the corner. And so we've been kind of having some fun with with making up some fantasy teams this week on the podcast, and so I wanted to ask you if you could indulge me a little bit and have a little fun and come up with a 5-man or woman team, a Survivor Series team from any WWE superstars ever. So I know it's kind of a tall task. I know that you haven't really been watching for too long, but it could be 2014 and above. If you had to construct a Survivor Series team, who would you want on your team?
Let's see. Oh, on my team.
Well, just like five WWE superstars. Who would you want?
Let's see. Well, I would like to have the Undertaker.
Nice.
And let's see. Sting.
Perfect. I already like those two.
3 more. Ooh. It's gonna be a weird one considering who I just mentioned, but because we were already talking about him, I'll have to throw Lindsay in there.
Lindsay, nice. I love it.
I think he could handle his own.
Yeah, he'd be fine.
Let's see. Earlier I mentioned that I liked Randy Orton, so
Randy, perfect.
I'll put him in there too.
Yeah, and one more.
Well, I wouldn't be a very good aspiring women's wrestler if it didn't pick a woman, at least one.
There you go. Good job.
Yeah. So we will. I'm gonna go in left field and say Bayley. Actually.
Oh, nice. It's Bayley. Nice.
I love Bayley.
That's a great team. I love it. Very cool.
I would like to actually see that happen.
What's that?
I would like to actually see that happen.
I know, right? It could happen. It's Taker's good for actually Sting. I know Sting's retired, but he's good for one more match. He could do it.
Yeah.
If Taker can do it, Sting can do it. He'd be all right. Also, same question, but I'd like it if you could use some people at the New England Pro Wrestling Academy. If you could create a Survivor Series team, you included. So you need 4 more people to join you at Survivor Series from the New England Pro Wrestling Academy. Who do you choose?
Well, gotta have AC Baby with me because I know that he would have my back.
AC Baby, love it. Yeah, yes.
It probably should be people that other people know already, right?
It can be anybody. It doesn't matter.
Well, who else? Probably, let's see. Well, I have Fury, even though he's the trainer.
No, that's fine. Fury. He's on his retirement his retirement leg here. This could be his last match joining you up at Survivor Series.
Yes, I like that. 3. Let's see. Flip.
Love Flip.
I enjoy watching him flip.
Yes.
As does everyone else.
Yes, absolutely. So one more.
Oh yeah, only one more.
One more to join Molly.
Let's see. There is a wrestler training there right now. His name is Josh Bruns, I think is how you pronounce his last name.
Yes.
And I would also have him.
Former football player.
Yes.
Yes.
That's correct.
Very cool. So we got Molly, AC Baby, Fury, Flip Gordon, and Josh. Perfect. That's a badass team right there, guys. I love it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Um, so that's about it, Molly. Before we go, anything you want to like plug wherever you're at on social media, something like that?
Well, I probably ought to use Twitter a little bit more, but my Twitter handle is at Miss Molly A 615.
There we go.
And my Instagram is the same thing.
Beautiful, nice and
And
easy.
my Facebook is just Molly Adams.
Yeah, I
I'm
never
sure there
really.
are several, but
Yeah, I never really know. I know that there's like a URL, but I never know mine either. I'm just like,
no,
I don't know. Just do a search. You'll see. You'll see what I look like. So
you'll find
I
me.
know. Yeah. Um, and I actually just recently started using Facebook for like, I've always used Facebook as just like a personal thing, but then I have like friended that I've met at shows, and so it's kind of becoming more of like a network thing for me now too. So, but yeah, I never know like what to tell people if they're like, "Hey, where are you at Facebook?" I'm like, I don't know, just search me. I don't know, but awesome,
Found a
cool.
lot of I found that a lot of people don't particularly like Facebook,
Yeah,
but
especially
I
for
do.
like something that's not personal. Like I think it's like I use Twitter a lot, to kind of connect with the wrestling community. So, um, but yeah, Molly, thanks so much for coming on. That was really fun. And definitely good luck training. And I definitely look forward to seeing your progress. And of course, we'll run into each other at Limitless shows and hang out. It should be cool. It should be fun.
It should be fun. I mean, thank you for having me. This is been very exciting for me.
Yeah, great. No, I'm glad. I'm glad. So awesome. Well, thank you so much again, and we'll catch you down the line there somewhere.
All right.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yep.